So last night, Susan and I had a little interchange that I thought I would share with you. I want to talk about it more this evening at the teaching and go into more depth, but I thought to mention it at lunch for the people who are watching BBC. You know how last night after we did the Chenrezig chanting, and then I left and the meditation session was continuing, and Susan also left. And when I was walking back, I bumped into her at the front door, and she was pausing, and I said, "What's happening?" She said, "Well, I'm, wondering whether to go in and write it on the board that I won't be at the rest of the session, or, whatever." And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "Well, there's just a lot of stuff coming up, for me, and I'm also tired." And I said, "Well, do you think that maybe, going to the session and doing your practice might help you with some of the stuff that's coming up?" And Susan paused, and then there was a slight smile on her face, just like that. And she said, "Maybe." And then she came in and did the rest of the session with everybody. And so I really thought about that a lot afterwards, because for a few different reasons. One is that she was there and her mind was going completely in one direction, and somebody came and said something different, and her mind opened at that point to consider an idea that was completely the opposite of the direction she was going in, And when I talked to her this morning, she said that it actually was very good for her to do her practice, and it's made her really ask a lot more questions about, when we're feeling kind of like a lot of junk's coming up, how to use our practice and how to use our refuge to help us. Yeah. So I thought that's, really something for all of us to think about, because I've noticed very often what people do is when, they're upset, they're in a bad mood, you're angry, then you miss session. And you usually say, well, I'm people don't like to say I'm angry. So they say, "Oh, well, I'm tired." Yeah, so I know around here most of the time, when people say I'm tired, it means I'm upset. Be careful of the precept about lying. Yeah, saying you're tired is one thing, saying you're upset is another. Okay, but most people don't say I'm upset or I'm angry or my mind's freaking out, or there's lots of stuff coming up. They say I'm tired. But regardless, whether it's, your mind acting up or your body being tired, to stop and, why am I turning away from practice at the time I need practice the most? Because the Buddha that taught the Dharma as a method to alleviate us from suffering. So when we're in the throes of suffering, why do we then say, well, I can't meditate, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to go have a snack, I'm going to go read a magazine, I'm going to go do something else, non-Dharma thing, as if that non-Dharma thing is going to alleviate our suffering. And then the next morning, when we feel better, we say, I take refuge in the Buddha and the triple gem, because they're going to alleviate my suffering. Is there something that we're not getting in here? Yeah? Okay, so just something to think about. I'll talk more about it tonight, but that's, I think, enough for BBC.